Hello James! Welcome back to a series. In this video, we will be discussing previous year BITSAT questions from the chapter of alternating current. Yes, another chapter uploaded randomly. Also towards the end of this video, I have an important announcement for BITSAT 2021 aspirants. Why towards the end of the video? Watch time! Okay, so yeah, let's begin today's class. Question 1 and 2 over here, questions from the super easy category. Okay, so in question 1 you are given the equation of current for an AC source. Okay, you are supposed to find the RMS value. Such a simple question, right? The RMS value is given as, for a sinusoidal equation, the RMS value is given as I naught by root 2, right? So where I naught is the peak current. The peak current over here is 6, right? I naught sine omega t. That form you can see. So I naught, the peak current over here is 6. So 6 divided by root 2. You need to simplify this. You can write 6 as 3 into 2. 2 you can write as root 2 into root 2. Yeah. And divide by root 2, this and this will get cancelled. And the answer that you will get is option A. 3 root 2. Okay, so 3 root 2 is the correct choice over here. It's a BITSAT question from 2009. Let's come to this question. Here you are given the equation of voltage and current for an AC source. Okay, you are supposed to find the power dissipated per cycle. Okay, now it's just a formula based question, right? Or else you can directly see that the phase difference between them is 90 degrees, right? So they differ by a phase difference of pi by 2, 90 degrees, right? So it is an, if you see, it is an inductive circuit, right? Purely inductive circuit. Current is lagging the voltage by pi by 2. Okay, current is lagging by 90 degrees. So it is a purely inductive circuit, purely inductive. So there won't be any power dissipated, right? Over a cycle, it will be 0. That way you can see it, or you can apply the formula that power average is given as VRMS into IRMS, VRMS into IRMS into cos phi. Okay, here you can see that VRMS and IRMS will be basically V naught by root 2, I naught by root 2. Okay, same logic over here. And cos phi, phi is the angle, the phase difference between the two. You can see it will be pi by 2, cos pi by 2, cos 90, 0, right? So here, from here you can see that the average power dissipated over a cycle is 0. Okay, so which was obvious by looking at the phase difference, right? So these were the questions from super easy category. One more set of super easy category and then we'll move to the easy category. Okay, so question 3 and 4 over here, we are still there in the super easy category. Okay, so in question 3 you are supposed to find the correct plot of XC versus F. Now what is this XC? XC is capacitive reactance. Okay, capacitive reactance, and F is frequency. Okay, so find the correct plot of capacitive reactance versus frequency. Okay, very simple job. We are just supposed to find equation relating the two and see which graph describes that best. Okay, so we can write XC as 1 upon omega C, right? And omega we can write it as 2 pi F, right? So 1 upon 2 pi F into C. Okay, so now you can see that XC and F are inversely proportional, right? 2 pi is constant, C is constant. So you can easily see that XC and F, your capacitive reactance and frequency, are inversely proportional, right? So which is the graph showing that? Here, option C is the correct choice over here, right? When frequency is high, XC is low, and when frequency is low, XC is high. Okay, this is not inverse relation, this is just a linear fall, right? This is a graph with negative slope. Okay, so this is not, the fall won't be linear in this case, it will be exponential as in C. And if you see option A and option D, the value of XC is increasing with frequency, which can't happen, of course, right? Inverse relation. Now let's come to question 4. Here you are supposed to find the correct plot of Z versus F. Okay, Z versus F in a LCR circuit. Now what is this Z? Z is impedance. Okay, so again let's do the same job. We'll find the equation between the two. Okay, so Z we can write it as under root of R square plus omega L or XC minus XL, right? Or basically their difference. Okay, so I'll write omega L minus 1 upon omega C the whole square. Okay, so difference, their difference square. Okay, so let's consider two scenarios over here. So some of you might directly know the answers by heart, right? It is a good approach to remember such type of important graphs by heart, so that will help you speed run it. Okay, so anyways, let's do it. So let's take two scenarios when omega is high and when omega is low. Now omega, if you see, is 2 pi f. Okay, so higher omega means higher frequency, right? So we need not go to frequency again. We'll say higher omega means higher frequency. Okay, so let's take the first scenario, high omega. So if we have high omega, this term will be dominated, right? This term will dominate the equation over here. Omega L will be very big. If omega is very high, omega L will be very big. Now I know it also depends on the value of L and C, but just you can grasp an understanding from this. Okay, so just forget about the values of L and C for now. Okay, so if we have very high omega, you can see that this term will dominate. Okay, and this term will be very small. Okay, very high omega, and that too in the denominator, that term will be very small. So in case of high omega, this term is very large minus something very small. So their difference is large, right? Very big minus something very small, the difference is significant, large. Okay, so r square plus something large square. Okay, so basically z will be big, right? R square plus something large square under root. Okay, so z is big. So in first scenario, we have omega big implies z is big. Okay, let's take the second scenario. Excuse me. So omega small. Okay, let's take the second scenario when omega is small. Now when omega is small, this term will be insignificant, right? It will be small. Okay, so this term is very small and this term will be big. Now omega is small. Okay, omega is small and that small number is in the denominator, so it will increase the number, just like 0.5 divided by 0.5 is 2, right? It increases. So okay, so omega is small, so this term will be very big. This term is very big, this term is small now. So again, the difference is large, right? So this term now, this term is very big, this term is very small. The difference is still large. Okay, getting my point? Okay, so I mean, you are just supposed to see the difference. I know it will be negative this time, but it is squared. Come on. Okay, so it is squared. So again, r square plus something large square. So again, even when omega is small, your z is big. Okay, so in both of the cases, the value of z is big. Okay, so we won't have a graph as such, direct relation graph. No, we won't have such graph in which z is falling or z is increasing. There will be some complex relation, right? And the correct relation over here will be this one. Okay, tell me when will z have minimum value? And the difference is 0, right? When omega L equals omega C. Resonance, yeah. So omega L equals omega C, difference 0. Last time in this cases the difference was large, that's why z was large. Here if difference is 0, this term will become, z will become, if difference is 0, z will become r. Okay, resonance. Okay, this term is 0, r square under root r, right? So this here is the point of resonance. Okay, here the difference is 0, xl is equal to xc. So somewhat this kind of graph you will have. Okay, so for low omega, the z value is not small. High omega also z value is not small. B is incorrect over here. I already said A and D are incorrect, right? The relation won't be straightforward. The only option that describes our relation best is option B, and option B is the correct choice over here. Anyways, you can remember this graph. These are important. Okay, you need not do such amount of thinking over there. After all, it's the super easy category. Okay, so you can remember this graph. Let's move to the next question now from the easy category. Okay, so question 5 over here, first one from the easy category. Okay, so in this question you are given a LCR circuit. You are supposed to find the voltage drop across the resistance, the inductor and the capacitor respectively, okay, in volts. Now here the current is given as 5 amperes. This 5 amperes can be anything, okay? It can be the RMS value or it can be the peak value, okay? So accordingly, correspondingly or respectively, you'll have the voltages over here, okay? So it's again a cakewalk for everybody, because VR will be simply given as I into R. VL will be given as I into XL, same current, right? Series combination. And VC will be given as I into XC, okay? So I into R, that will be 5 into 16, that is 80, right? So 80 ohms. So here if you see, only one option we have, option D, right? So again I have point to prove, so let's do it. So 5 into your XL, now this is, okay, 5 into 24, 5 into 12 into 2 I can do, 12 into 2, this is 60, 62s are 120, okay? So 120 volts, and here we'll have 5 into 12, okay, that's simple, 60. Okay, so 80, 120, 60. 80, 120, 60 volts is the correct choice over here. Okay, so option D is correct over here. This was a question from 2010. Over to the next question. So question 6 over here. In this question, you are given that the impedance of a circuit is in the form of resistance and capacitive reactance. Resistance is 3 ohms and the capacitive reactance is 4 ohms. Okay, so basically it may be a CR circuit. Okay, so here you are supposed to find the power factor. Now what is this power factor? Remember, we discussed about power in one of the questions previously. We wrote power as Vrms Irms into cos phi. Now this cos phi is nothing but the power factor over here. Okay, you can easily find it out using your impedance diagram, or you might directly know it as R by Z. Okay, so cos phi has a value of R by Z, right? The resistance divided by the impedance of the circuit. Okay, or this comes from your impedance diagram. Okay, so R we can draw it this way, and okay, and Z will draw it this way. Okay, so their resultant is over here, suppose. So sorry, this is XC. Okay, so their resultant R and XC here will be Z, right? Their resultant is the impedance of the circuit. So this is the angle phi between the resultant and the resistance. Okay, so actually this comes from the phasor diagram, right? So yeah, so here we have the phase difference phi. So here, from here you can write cos phi as R by Z, right? Adjacent upon hypotenuse, adjacent upon, where you can connect this will be 90 degrees. So yeah, so cos phi will be R by Z. Okay, so basically that. So find R is 3, and what is Z? Z is the net impedance. So 4 plus 3, 7. No, it won't be 7. They are not in phase, right? The current in the capacitor and in the resistance is not in the phase. You cannot just add them. Okay, they are no longer scalars, they are phasors. Okay, so how do you find Z? So you can use Pythagoras theorem, right? Both are at an angle of 90 degree. You'll know that the voltage in your capacitor lags by 90 degree, right? So that's why I drew it this way. Okay, so you can use Pythagoras theorem. So under root R square plus, so Z will be R square plus XC square. Okay, the square plus this square will give you this, right? A square plus B square will give you C square. So 3 square plus 4 square, that will be nothing but Pythagoras triplet 3, 4, 5, right? So 3 square plus 4 square equal to 5 square. Okay, so 3 by 5, 3 by 5 is nothing but 0.6. Okay, multiply by 2, that will be 10, 10 and 6, 6 divided by 10, and that is 0.6. Option B, 0.6 is the correct choice over here. Okay, remember, you cannot just directly add the impedance. Okay, so it's found out this way. Okay, over to the next question. So question 7 over here. In this question, you have a LCR circuit with some data given over here. You can make out what is what using the units. Okay, so here you have 6 ohm resistance. This coil has some resistance of itself, which is 4 ohms, 5 millihenry. So that is self inductance, right? And this is 50 microfarad. So that is capacitance. Okay, here the equation of the voltage with as a function of time is given. So it is given as 20 cos omega t. Okay, you are supposed to find the peak current in this circuit if omega is given as 2000. Okay, so peak current will be given as the peak value of the voltage divided by impedance, right? So far so good. Okay, so Z is given as, we know that for a LCR circuit, we have discussed this, it is R square XL minus XC, basically the difference. Okay, so XL minus XC the whole square, right? So let's find XL and XC first, and then we'll substitute over here, then we'll substitute over here and get our answer. Okay, so it is a very straightforward question. XL is given as omega L, right? From the first question. No, it's not from the first question, omega L. Anyways, so it is omega is 2 into 10 to the power 3, 2000. L is 5 into 10 to the power minus 3. Okay, 2 5s are 10, so that will be 10. 2 5s are 10, this and this will get cancelled. So XL is 10 ohms. Okay, fine. XC, we can find it as 1 upon omega C. So that is 1 upon 2 into 10 to the power 3 into C. C is 50 microfarad. So 50 microfarad. So 50 into 10 to the power minus 6, or 5 into 10 to the power minus 5. Right. So here we'll have, what will we have? So here we'll have 2 5s are 10, 10 to the power 4, 10 to the power 4 and 10 to the power minus 5 gives 10 to the power minus 1 in the denominator, that goes on top as 10. Okay, follow me up. Okay, so, oh nice, so it is a case of resonance, right? XL is equal to XC. Okay, so the net impedance over here will be only R, right? It will be only due to the resistance, right? XL is equal to XC, this term will be 0. So impedance is nothing but under root of R square, which is nothing but R, right? So in resonance, basically Z is equal to R. So in this case, Z is equal to R, right? Because XL is equal to XC. This is a specific case of resonance. They have chosen a good frequency over here. Okay, so in place of Z, you can directly substitute R. Now the real big question is, shall we account for this resistance too? Okay, we know that 6 ohm is the resistance of this resistor, but will we have to account for the resistance of the coil too? Okay, keep in mind that we have only cancelled the inductive effect of the coil and the capacitive effect of the capacitor. Okay, the inductive effect of the coil has killed the capacitive effect of the capacitor. Okay, or the inductive reactance has killed the capacitive reactance. The resistance of the coil is not dead. Okay, because XL is equal to XC. We nowhere mentioned this 4 ohms resistance of the coil. Okay, so we have to account for this with this one. Okay, so they are connected in series, so the net resistance is 10 ohms and not 6 ohms. Okay, you cannot just neglect that 4 ohms, you have to account for it. Okay, so 6 ohms and 4 ohms, the inductive effect, the XL is equal to XC, right? So that has cancelled out. Okay, but this R is the net resistance over here, which is 6 plus 10, series combination 6 plus 4, which is 10. Okay, so V0, the maximum value over here, V0 is 20. The resistance 6 plus 10, 6 plus 4, why I'm saying 10. Okay, so 6 plus 4, which is 10, 20 divided by 10, which is 2 amperes is the correct answer over here. So option A, 2 amperes is the correct choice over here. Okay, so only catch point was over here, right? What value of R should we choose? Will it be 6 or will it be 10? Okay, it is 10. Okay, you have to account for both the resistances, the net resistance of the circuit. Okay, so over to the next question. So question 8 over here, a transformer based question. In this question, you are given that the ratio of number of turns in the secondary coil to number of turns in the primary coil is 4:1 in a transformer, and you are supposed to find the secondary current if the current in the primary coil is 4 amperes. Okay, actually you can do it orally. You can see that number of turns in the secondary coil is 4 times the number of turns in the primary coil. You can take this NP over there. Okay, so number of turns in the secondary coil is 4 times the number of turns in the primary coil, right? So for ideal transformer, the relation between the current and the number of turns is inverse, right? It's inverse relation between the two, current and the number of turns. So if the number of turns in the secondary is 4 times the number of turns in primary, the current in secondary will become 1/4 of the current in primary. I'll repeat that. If the number of turns in the secondary is 4 times the number of turns in primary, the current in secondary will become 1/4 of the current in primary, right? So basically your secondary current will be 1/4 of this, which is nothing but 1 ampere. Okay, so again I'll do it for those who didn't get it verbally. Okay, so let's do it. So number of turns in secondary divided by number of turns in primary, and as I said, an inverse relation between the two. So number of turns in secondary, so secondary current over here, primary current over here. Okay, so inverse relation. Okay, you can see that. So this is 4 by 1, primary current is 4. Now you get it. Secondary current is over here, so secondary current will be 4 by 4, which is 1 amperes. Okay, so 1 amperes is the correct choice over here. Okay, so another transformer based question next. We'll do it verbally. Okay, a challenge for you and me. Let's move to the next question. So question 9 over here, transformer based question. So let's try speed running it. Okay, so it is given that the number of turns in the primary coil is 100, the number of turns in the secondary coil is 200, the voltage across primary coil is 120 volts, the voltage across secondary coil is something which we will find out, the current in the primary coil is 10 amperes, the current in the secondary coil will be. Okay, so this is something that we will find out. Here you can see that the number of turns in secondary is 2 times the number of turns in primary, right? So the number of turns is just doubled, right? 100 to the 200, so number of turns is doubled. So for a ideal transformer, there is a direct relation between number of turns and your voltage. Okay, the voltage drop. So it is a step up transformer, you can see that. So the voltage will also be doubled, so from 120 it will become 240. So either it's option A or option B. Okay, number of turns double, voltage will be doubled, and like in the previous question we have seen that the relation between current and the number of turns is inverse relation, right? So if the number of turns is doubled, current will be made half. Okay, so 10 divided by 2, that will be 5. Okay, so voltage will double and the current will become half. Option A is the correct choice over here. Again, for those who didn't get it, let's do it by writing. Okay, let's not just do it verbally. So NP by NS. Okay, let's directly substitute. Okay, you can follow me up. So NP by NS 200 will be equal to, now let's find the voltage first. So I said there is direct relation between the two, right? So NP by NS will be VP by VS. So VP, which is 120 divided by VS. So VS will be given as, so this will get cancelled, and 2 into 120, that is 240 volts. Okay, and similarly 100 divided by 200, NP by NS will be IS by IP. Now inverse relation between current and your number of turns, okay, for a transformer. Okay, so it will be IS by IP. So IS NP by NS will be IS by IP. So that will be 10 over here. This and this will get cancelled, and yeah, now you see it that IS is 5 amperes. Right, no need to do this, you can just speed run it. Just know that for an ideal transformer, the voltage has a direct relation to the number of turns and the current has a inverse relation, because power is conserved, right? One is brought up at the cost of other. You can see that it is a step up transformer, voltage is increased to 240 volt and power has to remain same, so your current is decreased. Okay, so here you can see it will be 1200, right? The power is 1200, and here also it will be the same, right? 24 into 5, 24, I can write it as, this way. So this is okay, 5 to the 10, 10 tens are 100, and yeah, again it's 1200. So power is conserved, right? Input power equals output power. Ideal transformer, that is the concept of transformers. Anyways, we won't get into it. Let's move to the next question now. So question 11 over here, in this question they have given you the plot of voltage versus time. You are supposed to find the RMS value of the voltage. Okay, so some of you who don't know much about RMS are likely to say that isn't it always V naught by root 2? Okay, and you'll say that option B is the correct choice over here. Which is in fact coincidentally correct. Okay, it's not always V naught by root 2. I'll say RMS value is not always V naught by root 2. There is a concept behind it. For sinusoidal waves, okay, waves like I naught sin omega t, for that it is I naught by root 2. Okay, for others it can be different as well. Okay, but this question is a very nice question. Okay, so in this question, it is such a type of question wherein you say task failed successfully, right? So you fail at the task, but yeah, it's a success. Okay, the answer is correct over here, although your concept is a complete mess. Okay, so the correct concept over here is VRMS. How to find VRMS? We'll also practice this in the next one, so pay attention over here. Okay, so VRMS. Okay, so this is root mean square, right? Root mean square. Okay, so let's take the root of that. Okay, so root of this mean, then they take the mean. Okay, this is how you write the average thing. Okay, and then square. Okay, so voltage square, then you take the average, or you can see it this way: square, mean, and root. Square the voltage, take the mean, and then root. Okay, square the voltage, take the mean, and then the root. Okay, so this is how you find the RMS value. Okay, so let's find it out. You can see that the RMS value, the value is not continuous over here, right? The voltage is not continuous. It's V naught for time t by 2, and then it breaks, right? It's not continuous function. So we'll break it into two halves later. Okay, I'll show you that. So first of all, let's find V square. First of all, let's write V. V is V naught for time 0 to t by 2, right? And for t by 2 to t, it is 0. From time t by 2 to t, it is 0. Okay, now let's square it, right? We have to square it, so it will be V naught square for this time, and it will be 0 square, so that will be 0, right? So in this time it is 0, and here for this it will be V naught square, right? We squared it. Now let's find the mean. Okay, how do you find the mean? For a time dependent function, you are supposed to remember this. Okay, suppose x is a time dependent function that you have, then you have to find the mean. Then the mean of x will be given as integral 0 to t over the entire cycle x dt upon integral dt. Okay, 0 to t dt. So this is how you find mean of a time dependent function. Even power, voltage, current. Okay, so for RMS values you can use this for mean. Okay, so basically for average. Okay, so whenever you have to find average of a time dependent function, okay, this is the formula that you are supposed to use. Now we are supposed to find the mean of V square, right? So we'll break it in two parts. First is 0 to t by 2. Okay, so let's find the mean of V square. This is what we are doing, mean of V square. So yeah, for 0 to t by 2, we are breaking it into two parts because it is not a continuous function. So 0 to t by 2, it is V naught square dt, right, divided by 0 to dt, right? This can be taken common, right? It will be same for both. 0 to t dt. Okay, plus we are just breaking the upward section. Okay, 0 to t by 2, and then t by 2 to t. So t by 2 to t, then here the value is 0. So of course this integration will be 0. Okay, so here we'll have V naught is constant, right? It is certain constant value. You can see that on the graph. So V naught square. Okay, V naught square. And when you find the integration of dt will be t, and when you substitute the limit, it will be t by 2 minus 0. Okay, so it will be t by 2 minus 0, which is t, and this integration will give you t. Okay, so remember this is mean of the V square. Okay, we have to take root after this. Okay, so this is what we get now. Okay, so this t and t will get cancelled, t from here and t from here will get cancelled, and you have V naught square by 2. Okay, this is the value of the mean of your v square. Now you are supposed to root it, right? Square, mean, and then root. Okay, so root this value, you'll get, so root of this value is your RMS, which is nothing but v naught by root 2. Task failed successfully, right? So v naught by root 2 is the correct choice over here. Okay, anyways, always it might not be v naught by root 2 or I naught by root 2. RMS value is not peak value by root 2 always. In case of sinusoidal waves, I naught sin omega t, I naught cos omega t, that time it is I naught by root 2, okay, or peak value by root 2. Okay, we'll discuss one more question on this. The next question will be based on RMS value. There also will exploit this concept. Okay, so you can rewind this video over here. If you have not understood, you can watch this again. Okay, if you want to revise this thing. Let's move to the next question now. Why are we waiting? So question 12 over here. Now this question is from the easy moderate category, and the previous question, if I didn't mention, that was also from the easy moderate category. Okay, so in this question you are given that a 5 ampere DC current is superimposed with AC current which has this equation 10 sin omega t. Okay, you are supposed to find the effective current. Now what effective current? Let's find the RMS value, right? Since it is not mentioned, it is safe to find the RMS value. Okay, so we'll find the RMS value using the previous concept. Okay, if you didn't knew the previous concept, what would you do in this question, right? You'll see, you'll find, yeah, we'll say effective current. Let's find the RMS value. What is the RMS value over here? Is it 10 by root 2? Not an option. 5 by root 2? No, not an option. Add them, square them, do whatever you want. Not an option. Okay, so only concept will work over here. So let's find the RMS value over here. So IRMS. First of all, what is I? You can see that they are superimposed. Now there is one more way of doing this question. You can do it by the superimposition theorem in your, which you use in SHM, right? There you discuss phasors, and there also you use the some theorem, and that is a very good shortcut of it, but we'll do it conceptually. Okay, I don't want to confuse you with the phasors and phasors idea, okay, and the superposition thing. Okay, so here we can simply write it as 5 plus 10 sin omega t superimposed, right? So we can just add the two equations over there, the DC current and the AC current, not just directly adding them. They are phasors, right? So yeah, keeping in mind their phase. So IRMS, it is given as, we know it will be, it will be square the term, then you take the mean, root, okay, root, square, mean, root, right? Or root, mean, square. Okay, so that is the idea of RMS. So let's find I square first. Okay, I square. So you have to square this. So 5 square 25. I'm directly doing it. 100 sin square omega t plus sin square omega t plus 2ab, right? A square plus b square plus 2ab. So 5 to the 10, 10 tens are 100, 2ab, okay, 2ab sin omega t. Okay, now we are supposed to find the mean of this. So mean of this thing, and then we'll take the root, right? That will give you us the RMS value. How to find the mean? Again, it's a time dependent function, right? So how will we do it? 0 to t integral 25 plus 100 sin square omega t, okay, plus 100 sin omega t and dt, of course, and divided by 0 to t integral dt, right? So where can we solve this now? We can say that 25 is a constant. It will come out of the integration sign. That will give us the answer over here as 25t. Now 100 sin square omega t. So 100 comes out of the integration sign, 0 to t sin square omega t. Okay, fine. I'll tell you a trick over here. Okay, to remember, you have to remember their averages. Okay, now again, so 100 into 0 to t sin omega t. It is important that you remember certain things. This is dt, dt. Okay, and upon, of course, you have t, right? So I'll write it over, how will I write it? Okay, upon t. Just understand that. Okay, this upon t. So let's do it. So 25t, it is the same thing. Copy paste. Now what is the average of sine square omega t? Okay, you are supposed to remember this, that it will give you, you can carry out the integration of course, right? But you can remember it directly, that the average of sine square omega t over an average over an cycle, over a cycle, is half. Okay, you can verify it through graph. It only takes positive value, right? Sine square theta is only positive value, so it's between 0 and 1. Okay, so the average will be half. So that is the idea. So here sine omega t has an average of 0. Okay, it oscillates between, for a cycle it oscillates between 0, -1, 1. Okay, so it's between 1 and -1, so 0 average. Okay, that is the way of thinking about it. Also you can learn some more. Cos square omega t, which is analogous to this, it will be half, and cos omega t, it will be 0. Okay, so you can remember these values. It's for average, sorry for not putting that sign. Okay, so average of sine square omega t over a cycle is half. Okay, so here we'll substitute half, so this average will be half. Okay, and don't forget that dt over here, so sine square omega t has an average of half, that comes out, and dt, integration of dt is t, so when you apply limit, that will give you t, right? Here the value will be 0. The integration of sine omega t, sorry, the average of sine omega t is 0, so there you will have a 0. Okay, so this is divided by t, so t will cancel out throughout. Okay, so you'll have 25 plus 50, this will be 50, right? So 25 plus 50 under root 75, so you have the square of this as 75, right? And you have to find root now. Okay, don't forget that. So root means square velocity, right? Sorry, root means square current. So root 75, you can write this as 25 into 3. So 25 is root 25 is 5, and root 3 will remain in the root sign. Okay, so the RMS value over here is option B. Okay, 5 root 3 amperes is the correct choice over here. Okay, we did it by the conventional approach over here. So we first superimposed both of them, we found out the equation, we squared it. Now it's just formula based, right? If you know this thing, it's formula based, and this thing of course. So yeah, then we squared it, then we squared it, then we found out the mean of the square, okay, by this method, time dependent function, we know it, okay, this method, and we know that the average of sine square omega t or sine square theta is half, and cos square and sine omega t, sine theta is 0. Okay, average of sine theta is 0, sine square theta is half. Okay, this is something that you should remember. Also this thing, okay, it is analogous to that. So we substituted the values, we got our answer over here, sorry. Okay, so over to the next question. So question 13 over here, again in this question you have a LCR circuit. Just for a change, it is a parallel combination now. Okay, so you are supposed to find the value of resistance if I1, the current which is passing through the resistance, okay, I1 is the value of current passing through the resistance, is half of the maximum current through the entire circuit, okay, is half of the peak value of the current. Okay, so find R in such a case. So I need some space to do this. So I'll clear up the story. Okay, you can see that I1 is the current passing through the resistance. It has a value of peak current by 2. Okay, so let's try doing this one now. Okay, so now it is parallel combination, right? Something which we don't learn in our syllabus, but the story is same. Okay, you can think it analogously. Okay, so you can think that for series combination, we write that now for a series combination, what will happen? The voltages will split among the three components, right? In this case, the current will split. The voltage across all three of them will be the same, right? Parallel combination. And in case of series, it will be different. The voltage will be different, current will be the same. Okay, so in case of series combination, you remember that can you remember that we used to write V net as the maximum V net value as under root of VR square plus VL minus VC, or their difference basically, the whole square, right? Or you can compare it with the impedance thing. Okay, so in this case voltage is same, right? Voltage is not differing among the three components, so the thing that is differing is current. Okay, so current is differing over here, so we can write I in this case. So analogously, okay, we are approaching analogously. So I, so remember that each of these are maximum current now. Okay, so I'm not mentioning that. So I R square, so current in the resistor square, or basically I1, okay, maximum current in the resistor. So IL minus IC the whole square. Okay, so now we can write this as I1. Now we'll take this scenario over here. We'll write the current I1 divided by I0 is half, right? We know this, I1 divided by I0 is half. Now we already found out the equation for I0. This is the maximum current in the circuit, right? Just analogously approaching, we found it out, right? So in place of I0, we can substitute this value over here. Okay, so the current in the resistor square, so I'll directly write I1 square, okay, plus IL minus IC, okay, IL minus IC the whole square. Okay, can we do some improvements over here? Now we can write the current in terms of voltage, right? Because we know that voltage is same across all the three components, right? So let's consider that the voltage is E0 over here. Okay, so we'll say I1, the current in the resistor, will be given as the voltage across it divided by the resistance, right? And here also I1 will be given as E0 by R the whole square. And here also let's substitute the values. Here the current will be given as the voltage divided by inductive reactance, right? So voltage E0 divided by XL, and here minus E0 divided by XC. Okay, so their respective resistances over there. So now let's simplify it further. Okay, this is equal to half. So what will we do? We'll square it on both the sides so that this root sign is not over there. Okay, let's kill that root sign. So we have 1 by 4 on the other side, and when you square this, it will become E0 square by R square upon E0 by R the whole square plus E0. You can take this E0 common over here, E0 square, right? You can write as 1 upon XL and minus 1 upon XC. Now you can write XL as omega L, right? And directly you can substitute over here, not wasting time. So XC you can write as 1 upon omega C. Now 1 upon omega C, that will go on top, right? So omega C goes on top. Okay, so E0 square, you can cancel it out throughout. That's why we substituted it, right? Because we know that it is same for all the components and it will somehow get cancelled. Okay, so here you are left with 1 by R square, and you can take this to the other side. So it will give you 1 by R square. So you have to, I'll take this 4 over here. So 4 by R square, and you can merely take this to the other side, right? Remember that we have cancelled this E0 square. Okay, so yeah, substitute 1 upon omega L minus omega C. Okay, so this will be 3 by R square, right? 3 by R square. When you bring this to the other side, 1 upon omega L minus omega C. Now you might be, you can see the answer over here. So R square will be this 3 upon this thing, right? And when you take the root on both sides, it will be root 3 upon this, right? And sorry if I made a mistake over here, it is square, right? It is square over here. Okay, so I forgot to take that square. Okay, so if it's not visible to you, I'll do it over here. So here we'll take R square over here, and we'll get R square, and this is 3 by 1 upon omega L minus omega C the whole square, right? When you take the root, the answer that you will get is root 3 upon this, right? It's basically different, so they have used mod. Okay, when you root, basically it's a mod sign. Okay, when you root on both the sides, you take a mod sign, so don't worry about that sign. Okay, so basically in a way we say it's difference, right? We know we don't know what is big and what is small. It is just big minus small. Okay, so either it's 1 upon omega L minus omega C, or omega C minus 1 upon omega L. That's why mod. Okay, we don't worry about the signs. Okay, so just the difference between the two. So anyways, option B is the correct choice over here. Okay, I hope the approach is clear. We thought analogously to the series combination. Okay, in series combination we split the voltage. In parallel combination we splitted the current over here. Okay, so analogously, now we knew that this ratio is half. Okay, so we took that ratio, we substituted the value of maximum current from here, peak value from here, right? Okay, so yeah, when we substituted the peak value, we wanted it in terms of E naught, because we know somehow that E naught will get cancelled, right? So we substituted E naught, the current in terms of E naught everywhere, that somehow cancelled. We solved it further and the answer was option B. Okay, and if you see dimensionally, it's the only correct answer. This is dimensionally incorrect, okay, yeah, and either it could be B or D. Okay, so thinking that you could have just eliminated some options over here, so either it's B or D. A and C are dimensionally incorrect, no way they can be correct. Okay, so let's move to the final question for the day now. So question 14 over here, the last question for the day, and from the moderate category. Okay, so let's do it. So in this question we have a nice story. So here we have a circuit. So first you can see that it is a LR circuit. Okay, so Y and X are connected for, X and Y are connected for a long time. Okay, so get into the story. Let's see what happens. Okay, so let's imagine what happens. We can see that when X and Y are connected for a long time, what will happen? There will be a growth in the current, right? Growth in the current in the inductor. First of all, at the instant t is equal to 0, when they are connected, the inductor will resist the current growth, right? So the current growth will be gradual. It will grow and grow and grow until it achieves a steady maximum value, right? And at that value, the inductor will be useless. Okay, good for nothing. Okay, so the idea is, when they are connected for a long time, the current will slowly grow gradually, and finally it will attain a steady maximum value. In fact, you can find the value of that current. It will be, let's say it is I naught. Okay, the maximum current in this circuit now. Okay, through this circuit. Okay, so that will be E by R. Okay, we can name this as E. Okay, they have used that EMF of that battery. This is a battery, is E. Okay, so E by R. It will be E by R. Okay, here this EMF will entirely drop across the resistance, no drop across the inductor. Why is that? Because the current attained a steady value. How is the EMF across your inductor given? It is given as L di by dt, right? When the current attains a steady value, di by dt is 0, right? There is no change in current with respect to time. It has attained a maximum value. Okay, and this will happen after infinitely long time. Okay, that's why they have said it as X and Y are connected for a long time. Okay, so finally this is the maximum current that we obtain. This entire voltage will drop across the resistance. The inductor is good for nothing now. Okay, so now after that, X and Z are connected. Okay, and again they are kept connected for a long time. So you can see that now it will be a LC circuit, right? Initially it was a LR circuit. Now it is a LC circuit. Battery is disconnected now. It is a LC circuit. Okay, so you are supposed to find the maximum charge on the capacitor now. So this was the story. The question is, find the maximum charge on the capacitor. Now how will you do this? Okay, this question is testing a nice concept, and that concept is something which you may have neglected: LC oscillations. Okay, so here we are going to use conservation of energy. Okay, whatever energy there is there in the inductor, assuming that there is no loss through electromagnetic radiations or any other loss, we'll say that that entire energy will be stored in the capacitor, right? What will happen? The first step in this LC oscillation is that first the current is steady over here, right? Some current I0 is flowing, right? When we connect this after a long time, okay, with this I0 is flowing in that inductor, right? Now that current will start to decay. Charge will start to accumulate on this capacitor, and the charge will grow and grow and grow and grow and finally attain a maximum value. That is what we are supposed to find. So yeah, the first step is charging of the capacitor. Okay, so we'll end the story over there. Okay, so we'll say the energy which is there in the inductor at this moment is given as half L I0 square, right? Half L I square. The current in the inductor is I0, right? This is the current. Okay, so now this will be equal to the energy when the capacitor is fully charged. Okay, the energy in the capacitor when it is fully charged. So it will be half maximum charge on the capacitor square divided by C, half Q square by C. Okay, so now we can substitute I0 as this E square by R square. I think we'll get our answer over here. Half and half will get cancelled in the first step. Okay, Q square by C. We are supposed to find maximum charge, so this will give us the charge. This is the maximum charge, right? Whatever current was there, it got accumulated as charge on the capacitor plates. Okay, so whatever energy was there in the inductor got converted into the energy in the capacitor. Okay, so Q over here, Q square will be given as L, okay, L E square LC by R square, or you can write when you take root on both sides, it will be E under root LC divided by R, right? E under root LC divided by R. So option D, E under root LC divided by R is the correct choice over here. Again, dimensional analysis is used over here. So you can neglect this option if you use dimensional analysis. Okay, these are dimensionally incorrect. Okay, so you can basically use dimensional analysis wherever you see messing up of terms. Okay, you can see LC is in the denominator over here, here it's in the numerator. So that time it should click you that let's try and see if it's not wasting a lot of time. Let's try and see if dimensionally is this thing or this all of these options are correct or not. Okay, so only sometimes it happens that only the dimensionally correct option stands over there and you have your answer without doing it. Task failed successfully again. Okay, so yeah, that is another way of doing it. However, here you'll only be able to eliminate this two and then you have this thing. Okay, anyways, we went out of the story over here, out of the context. I think I don't need to revise this. This is very clear. You can rewind the video and watch it again. I know this was a lot to take in, but yeah, that is what it is. Let's move to your homework question. So question 15 over here, this is your homework question. You can pause the video over here, take a screenshot if you wish to try it later. Okay, I'll definitely rate this question in the moderate category. Okay, so in order to solve this question, you require a little bit of logic of your inductor LR circuits. Okay, so yeah, just like we used them in the previous question, here in this question you are supposed to find the voltage drop across this inductor as a function of time. Okay, voltage drop across inductor as a function of time. Here are your options. You can surely give it a try. It's a question from 2016 BITSAT. Okay, so yeah, do tell me the answers in the comment section and the correct answer will receive a heart from me. Now the announcement that I wanted to make was that we are ending the A series over here. I know some of the chapters are left, like four chapters I guess, which are ray optics, wave optics, atoms and nuclear. These 4 chapters were left. Anyways, we'll cover them for BITSAT 2022. This is all what we'll get for 2021 I guess. But I'll try to come up with something new for BITSAT, like one-shot formula revision, right? That will be helpful at this point of time, so I'll continue with that. Okay, so I'll bring up 2 videos maybe next, one on one-shot revision of class 11 formulae and one on one-shot revision of class 12 formulae. Okay, so that will be more helpful, I guess, instead of discussing this previous year questions at this moment of time. Anyways, we'll cover it up before BITSAT 2022, obviously. And yeah, that is all what I can say. So let's wrap up today's class. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, smash like, subscribe. I'll see you soon in the next one. Keep enjoying physics.